Hello. Hello, 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 YouTube? Are we live? I think we're live. Yes, there we are. We are live right now. Let's see how we sound. YouTube? Are we live? I think we're live. Yes, there we are. We are live right now. Let's see how we sound. YouTube? Are we live? Okay, sounds good. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I've been on break for a bit, but now I am no longer on break. And we're doing debates. Oh, I didn't open Google Voice yet. Let me do that. That's probably important. Hold on. Google Voice. Voice.google or whatever the heck. Alright. Google Voice is open. We are receiving calls now, or we're able to receive calls whenever y'all are ready. Any Trump supporters in the audience that don't like the thing above my head where I claim that the president is going to lead us into a big ol' L in Iran, feel free to argue that I'm incorrect. Give me some information that I am potentially missing. I don't think I'm missing any information though, but perhaps I am. You tell me. What am I missing? I think we're gonna get our asses beat. I think it's already looking horrible for us. What am I missing? I'm waiting now. I'm waiting for someone to expose me to the so-called truth. The non-woke truth. I'm trying to see if from my other account if this stream is being pushed. Okay, I see the stream here. The words. You know, the words aren't actually super well visible on the YouTube because of the thingamajig, the name on top. So I'm gonna actually move that down under me. Then we'll see how that looks. But where did the music go? My music! You can't do nothing without music, you know what I mean? You cannot do nothing without a nice tune in the back. What song to play? What song to play? Again, if anybody disagrees with what I have to say above my head, feel free to express your disagreement. Go ahead and call the number above my head as well. I'm going to move this thingamajig down real, I guess, nice and slow. I just want to make sure it stays kind of centered. You know what I'm saying? I see 27 people watching. Hello, everybody. Feel free to say something in the chat. Say hello. Make your voices heard. Feel free to call into the stream as well, into the number above my head. If you disagree with my claim that Trump cannot win the war that he began in Iran. Overall, we can talk about other things, too, if you've got any other concerns in mind. But that's the main thing in my head right now, the war. It's not looking very good for us, I'm not gonna lie. Can't lie to you guys. It looks pretty concerning. Right? So if you disagree, go ahead and call. If you got any comments, go ahead and speak in the chat. I'm ready to hear you out. Debate. All that fun stuff. Oh, but I'm looking for a tune to play. Lula Garcia says hello. Hello, Lula Garcia. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you being here. And you are the first person to say something, so I really appreciate that. Thank you for being here. We are just waiting for people to show up to debate, to argue for your entertainment and other people's entertainment who might be potentially watching. Do 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 do. Yeah, let's go put this on. All right, we got some music in the background. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'll be able to listen to my stream later to see how loud it is. If it's too loud, we'll just take it out. But you know. I guess while we're waiting for someone to have the audacity to show up and disagree with me, I can explain my case to those watching right now. Trump can't win this war. He's making a mess out of it. The economic, surprising sort of economic impact that Iran is able to cause is overwhelming him and his administration. They have no idea what they're doing. The gas prices were instantly up, and this is just the beginning. It can go higher. If they want to do a ground invasion, that is only going to make things worse. Iran is not Iraq. Iran is multiple times its size. Iran is mountainous. You can go bomb as much people as you want. You can kill as much people as you want. But are you going to get your goals? Well, what's the goal, I suppose? From Israel's end, I think what they want is the balkanization of Iran. They want no Iranian state. Period. That's it. They would love to just see it completely wiped off the map. I don't think that's really in anybody's interest that isn't Israel. I don't think that's even really truly in Israel's interest, if I'm just going to be honest with you, because that just makes a much more radical and messy environment around them. But nonetheless, that seems like that's their goals. For the U.S.'s end, we really do actually have nothing to gain. We don't. Our allies in the Middle East are upset with us because we've essentially allowed them to get bombed for Israel's sake. And they're caught in the middle of this shit. It's not good. And our soldiers are just going to die. They're just going to die for nothing. We already have soldiers that are dead. And you had the president who was watching their corpses be dragged in front of him. He couldn't even take off his hat to properly salute him. You know, they made the whole mess about Benghazi for years and years and years and years. You know, when we pulled out of Afghanistan, they made a whole thing about, you know, the losses that happened during the pullout. I think we already lost more people. How much people we lost in Iran so far, in this Iran conflict? A good amount as far as I know. At least for our standards. The 2026 Iran war, that's a crazy thing to see as a headline, as a Wikipedia article. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it's one thing to sort of read history. It's another thing when history is happening right in front of us. That's a pretty messy situation. Let's see. Casualties and losses per the United States and Israel. So again, fog of war, and you can only trust them so much. We already have 200 Americans wounded, 15 military personnel dead. And I'm certain that Iran claims a lot more. Per Iran. Iran claims that a THAAD radar is destroyed. Different other radars, early ballistic missile warnings have been destroyed and so on. I thought they made some claims about soldiers being dead as well. I think they did, but maybe it's just not being talked about on here. 1 French soldier dead. People from Oman killed, Qatar injured, Jordan injured, Azerbaijan injured, UAE 2 soldiers dead, 4 civilians killed, bunch of people injured, Kuwait, Kurdistan, Lebanon. Of course, Iran has big losses too. I mean, what is there to gain in this? I would love for somebody to call in and actually make the case. Well, I wouldn't love it. I think they'd be fucking insane. But I would love to debate that kind of person. Because I really do not see any logic in this war. Besides Israel having some long-term goals. Besides maybe like the evangelicals having their sort of apocalypse fantasy. Or trying to make the apocalypse happen or whatever the heck. As for regular people, working people, it's nothing. I think I remember hearing a point that, like, with the money that we already spent on the war, the billions of dollars that we already spent on the war, we could have cleaned all the pipes, I think, in the city of Philadelphia, or redid all the pipes, or did something like that. Made sure all the sewage is running right, and so on. That kind of just reminds me of just the broader political situation is in so many fields, in the big national politics, in the local politics, when progressives are always asked, how are you going to pay for this? How are you going to pay for that? How are you going to pay for this? We pay for that by reallocating what we're already spending. And also, we should cut some spending. We should cut some spending to the fucking Pentagon. We should cut some spending to the military-industrial complex. We should cut the subsidies to the oil companies because they are profitable enough. I see here Serena Postal says, "Hey man, hello Serena, welcome to the stream. We're just chatting a little bit, waiting for some people to debate if they disagree with the point I'm making above my or below my camera, and we shall see if debates happen. This is the first stream in a while. Around the last time I was streaming on the YouTube streams, I noticed it was pretty difficult to to sort of like it was like the algorithm changed. Like for a while with YouTube short streams, the algorithm would push it like crazy and a bunch of people would come and a bunch of people would debate. Maybe part of that was the fact that we were in the 2024 election essentially. But after 2025 started, I feel like the algorithm changed a bit. Either the algorithm changed or there was a cultural change and a lot of MAGA types didn't want to defend their president when he was cutting like 100,000 federal jobs and having Elon Musk ransack the United States. That's also very possible. But it has been a minute since we streamed. Maybe the algorithm needs to sort of warm up to us existing again. But we shall see how that goes. We're back on our grind. And by the way, our views right now, I just looked at the analytic right now. 67, funny number. But anyway, what was I saying about Iran? Yeah, no, there's literally nothing we're gaining. It's a complete bullshit war. It doesn't even have the support of the American people. It's deeply unpopular, and usually it's at the beginning that it becomes, or usually it's at the beginning where it is at its most popular. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that in this case. It's not that at all. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if at this point we stop attacking them, we just pull out, that's kind of an L, I think, on the Trump worldview or the Trump supporters' worldview of just kind of like giving up or losing, essentially. If we do continue and we go forward with, like, let's say, a ground invasion, that's going to be massive casualties for American soldiers. That's going to be an extremely messy war. I think to really put it in perspective, this entire war, you essentially haven't had engagement with the Iranian army, like the ground forces. So in a situation where we're going to put boots on the ground, those people are going to be all activated, essentially, and they're going to be part of the fight and so on and so forth. And that is something I feel even more than just our going back and forth with missiles and drones. That's something we're not prepared for. Because Iran, you can call their equipment old, you can call it crude, you can call it whatever the hell you want to call it. But they have this equipment, and they have a lot of it. And they are going to put up a fight if we attack them on the ground. And again, war is different than even the early 2000s. We saw in Ukraine how Russia had a bunch bigger numbers than Ukraine, a much bigger air force, a lot more money, a lot more resources, and so on and so forth. But we've seen how war has changed so dramatically in terms of tactics, in terms of equipment, with the drones, and so on and so forth. Iran has a lot of those drones, and they've been using those drones. Do you think this could be the start of World War III? I don't think this is the start of World War III. World War III in the sense like with World War I and World War II, where you had like the great powers, the major powers fighting each other directly, peer-to-peer, right? The way I view this is this could be a new Vietnam, right? A step more intense, I think, than Iraq in the sense of the casualties we'll be taking as Americans and so on and so forth. This could be a new Vietnam, but this would have more consequences than Vietnam because we already saw it. Without even a full land war, the Strait of Hormuz has been closed, and we're seeing gas prices rise dramatically. We're seeing shortages in Asia. We're seeing, simply put, like, them gas prices, they got cascading effects throughout the whole economy. You know what I mean? Cascading effects throughout the whole economy. That's going to affect food prices. That's going to affect the price of goods. That's going to affect manufacturing and so on and so forth. And America, I personally believe we've already been in a recession. Unofficial, we're being propped up by AI data centers and so on and gambling, right? That's the only things propping up the American economy right now. But I think we've been in a recession. There's a lot of states in America that have already been in recession. And this is only going to make things more extreme. But do I think it's going to be World War III? No, because I don't think you're going to have Russia or China directly fighting the United States. I don't think so. I think if we go into a ground war with Iran, it's going to be a brutal, grinding ground war. I think Russia and China might provide financial and military support to Iran as they did with Vietnam. And as we did with Afghanistan when the Soviet Union was fighting in Afghanistan. But it won't be Russia going to war with the United States or China going to war with the United States. And I think almost ideologically from Trump's end, what he'd prefer, honestly, he seems to be more than eager to have sort of the spheres of influence kind of geopolitics. So I don't think he minds, for example, if Russia takes Ukraine, if China takes Taiwan. He just says, or in his view, he just wants us to be able to take Venezuela, Cuba, I guess Iran in his worldview. But I think he's actually quite aligned with, let's say, Putin. And I think on Putin's end, he would love if America goes into Iran, so that a lot of the resources that we would have sent to Ukraine, for instance, is more focused on that war. And they already lifted the Russian sanctions on oil because Trump, in his sort of quick attempt to try to lower the impact of the Strait of Hormuz being closed, is allowing United States allies and associate countries to take Russian oil. So, I mean, the Russians are gaining from this, and they're gaining from not even being part of the war directly. So, World War III, no, I don't think that's happening. But a grinding war that's going to potentially really mess up the economy, yeah, that's a lot more in the books in my view. Or that's a lot more, that's what's coming, you know. That's what's here. It's not even just coming at this point. But Serena, I appreciate you asking that question. If anybody in the chat is still listening, feel free to ask more questions. Engage. That's what makes streaming fun. You know what I mean? If someone is a Trump supporter or MAGA and they like what's going on, they are also free to call in and argue their case. And we'll see how respectful that goes or how intense that goes, you know. A little difference what I'm going to try to do with streaming now, especially with the debates, from when I was streaming before, is when I would stream before and I would have like a Trump supporter come on and we'd go back and forth, I would really let that go on for a long time. You know what I mean? I think I let it go on for a little too long. So I think I'm going to try to time the debates, make sure things go quick, make sure that pretty much they can't filibuster the whole time. So I'm going to try to keep it like, if someone comes on, make it like a 10-minute debate. You know what I mean? And we shall see how that goes. But yeah, folks, for those watching, and there are 5 of you or 6 of you on my phone's end and on the streaming side, and it says 3. I don't know which one is more accurate, but feel free to ask more questions, engage a little bit. You know, let me, I guess while we're waiting for those and waiting for people to debate, there's other topics to talk about beyond the war. And I kind of hinted at this earlier, somewhat discussed this earlier, but there's been a big question that people have been asking. Are we already in a recession? I think we are. We are. We've had the worst job growth since the pandemic. We've had job openings fall to the lowest since the pandemic. So it's not just people losing jobs, it's also the jobs going away. It's not people losing job and then their job goes back to the market and somebody else is going to get them. It's someone loses their job and that job is gone. That's what losing job openings means. So we have the worst job growth since the pandemic. We have the worst job openings since the pandemic. I think last month 92,000 jobs were lost. Unemployment grew to 4.4% when they expected job growth and they got the opposite. 108,000 jobs cut in January, which is apparently the worst January for layoffs since 2009. So we were just comparing the economic situation of today to the time of the COVID pandemic. Now we're comparing it to the time of the last recession, the Great Recession. There was a Business Insider headline that really caught my eye where they said, like, tech jobs are getting demolished in ways not seen since 2008 and the dot-com bubble. And apparently, big tech, has been one of the few things carrying this economy. So if big tech is one of the few things carrying this economy, and we're seeing more job losses, we're seeing it get demolished, according to Business Insider, like the times of recessions past. What is that going to mean when we actually end up in a recognized recession broadly? When AI data center construction and gambling is no longer producing enough money to hold up the economy. If in the good times, if in growth we're seeing recession level shit, what's going to happen when we're actually in a recession? You know, now on top of all that, we got a war. Oh, what do you think about Europe? Europe, I'm real impressed by that Pedro Sanchez guy in Spain. I'm not so impressed by Keir Starmer in the UK. I do like Zach Polanski, the Green Party fella in the UK. He's a symbol of hope for the left internationally and, you know, just human beings internationally, I think. And the Green Party has been surging in the polls, from what I understand. We might see a situation by the next UK general election where the top two parties are the Greens and Reform, which is crazy. I think Europe has been a little too weak on Trump. But I think they also understand the importance to not depend on the United States at this point. So I think that's something that they're going to be working towards. I think they see Ukraine and they see how we've kind of flustered and changed position kind of overnight. The moment Biden was in office to when Trump was in office, Biden was supporting the hell out of Ukraine. And Trump essentially... he's been like a mixed bag where he leaves them out to dry. He yells at them, but then he supports them, but then he like supports Russia. So they see us as inconsistent. They see us as a bad partner. But on Iran, a lot of them have been unbelievably weak. Particularly Keir Starmer has been unbelievably weak. Oh, hold up. We're getting a call. From a 717 area code. Who's this?
This is Joseph.
Nice to meet you. What's on your mind, Joseph?
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
You know, that's a real... I've heard that debate for years.
Let's hear it.
I would say... Yeah, I think it's a sandwich. Because you think about, like, hoagies or whatever. Hoagies are kind of similar to hot dogs. And those are definitely sandwiches.
I agree. Okay, we agree on that then. Let me hit you with another hard hitter.
Okay.
Pineapple on pizza.
Oh, I'm super for that. Depends on the pineapple. I think Domino's has a good pineapple.
I'll tell you the secret is you go pineapple, ham, bacon, and jalapeno.
Hell yeah.
We agree on that too. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all I got. Damn.
All right.
I was trying to debate you, but you too right. You're too correct.
Well, I appreciate you, and I'm glad that we got places of agreement. All right.
My man.
All right, then. Have a good day, man. Appreciate you.
Peace out, brother.
Well, that was a nice interaction there, and I think that fella has some good points. All right, back to Europe. Yeah, no, we've been insanely weak on Europe. But Europe has been insanely weak on us in terms of the Iran situation. I think broadly they recognize they can't depend on us too much, so they're trying to sort of get independence. We'll see how that goes. An interesting fact that I came across, they've surpassed us in terms of manufacturing. I don't know if it was manufacturing jobs or just overall production or exports or whatever the heck, but either way, they surpassed us in terms of manufacturing. We can't be surpassed by Europe in terms of manufacturing. That's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm hoping next time we have a decent president or whatever that actually can make some change on the manufacturing front. I mean, criticize Biden all you want, but he had positive growth in the manufacturing sector. There was more job growth. There was manufacturing, construction, investment shot up in a way we haven't ever really seen before since I think World War II. And I think it was mostly driven by a lot of private too, which is a surprise. But manufacturing growth has shrunk dramatically. There's been layoffs in that front. In America, our trade deficit is still high. There wasn't progress made on that front. So, yeah. Can't lie, my bro was unbeatable. He got the facts. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Sparty Party MSU. Appreciate you. But yeah, in terms of Europe, we can't let Europeans outperform us. I ain't even trying to hate on them. Let me try to find that manufacturing stat. Manufacturing, top manufacturing countries. Because I want to know if it was production or jobs. Hold on. Or maybe GDP? Sector composition? Oh, value. So output. Okay, that's what they're measuring. So obviously China's pretty high up there. The EU, in this measurement, they have the EU like double us, but I saw another graph where it was like the EU surpassed us fairly recently. So I don't think the graph I was looking at was manufacturing output, if that's the case. I don't know. I mean, maybe manufacturing jobs. Labor force. List of countries by sector composition. That's not what I'm looking for. Manufacturing countries in the world. List of countries by labor force. List of countries by GDP sector. I don't know which exact graph I was looking at, but I'll find it one day. I will find it one day, folks. What else do I have in mind? Oh, I was talking about, are we already in a recession? Yeah, no, we're definitely in a recession. I'm currently living as a Romanian citizen, and it's hard. We have a corrupt government, and poverty has begun spreading. We are basically giving Europe and Ukraine money and resources for almost free. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not too familiar with the politics of Romania. I'm sure that there is corruption, no doubt. I think that's what I've heard. I see a new president was elected or sworn in the 26th of May in 2025. Let me see what party he's in, just out of curiosity. Oh, he's an independent. Okay. He was part of a thing called the USB and the USR. One of the parties named the Save Bucharest Union, and the other one was the Save Romania Union. I like the creative naming. I don't hate Europe, just hating on our leader. Yeah, no, for sure. I think there's a lot of nuance with especially the EU and so on and so forth. I know that there's a lot of people that are either Eurosceptic or super for the European Union. I think if I was in Europe, I would want to be part of the European Union because, having a group of people makes you stronger than being, completely alone on an island, right? But clearly the EU has its more influential nations, and you get situations where, like, Germany, as far as I understand, at some point was, like, really pushing other EU countries to force austerity and so on. But I'm curious, Serena, Serena Postal. I don't know if Serena's your first name or what, but I'm curious, what in Europe, who do you feel is kind of leading the European Union? Which one of the country's leaders kind of feel like they're the leader of Europe? Is it Germany's chancellor? Is it Macron in France? Is it Germany is kind of like the go-to. Macron is clearly trying to make himself a sort of bigger figure historically and in European politics, or that's been a goal of his from my outsider's perspective. Or maybe we got some wild cards, we got Pedro Sanchez in Spain, who's kind of taking a strong anti-Trump, anti-war stance, and getting Trump angry, but getting a lot of praise from people around the world. Who do you feel is the true leader of Europe? But hold on, I have an idea. Let me move this thing up here. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. Ooh. I gotta move both of them, so I'll move the headline up here, like so. There you go. Move that a little higher. Oh, maybe that's a little too high. Oops, I'm moving the wrong thing. Macron has mostly been influencing our president. That's interesting. Yeah, Macron seems to really be trying to be the new boss man of Europe, of sorts. I don't know how well it's working because he's going to lose power in France soon. I don't know who's been the leader of the EU, but for us, Macron has been meeting up with our president. I see. That's interesting stuff. The Europeans. Sorry, just adjusting my overlay. It's been a while since I streamed, so I decided to make a little bit of a new overlay to sort of mix things up and make something a little nicer and cleaner. I wonder who the next president of France will be. I think right now it's like a right-wing guy that's popular. I wonder when Spain is having the next election. I keep hearing about Pedro Sanchez. Spain election, let's see. 2026. Oh, that's regional. Okay. There's a general election in 2027. So if there's a 2026 election, though... Oh, that was February and March. Oh, that's tomorrow. Or did it already happen? Oh, maybe there's some... Wait, hold on. Regional elections will be held in Spain during 2026 to elect regional parliaments. At least 3 of the 17 autonomous communities. And at least 258 and 1,212 seats for regional parliaments will be up for election. The election will be held no later than March 15th. In Castile and Leon, no later than June 30th, and Andalusia. An election in Aragon will take place on 8th of February. What a confusing political system. How bizarre. I guess Aragon already happened February. It seems that the PP, the People's Party of Aragon, lost, 2 seats at 1.24%. The PSOE has lost 1.29%, 5 seats, but they're still top 2. Vox has gained 6.64. What the heck is CHA? It's the Aragon Eco-Socialist Party, has gained 4.47%, got 3 new seats. So a mixed bag. So then there's a March election tomorrow, I guess, and a June election. That explains why, what's his face? The president, Pedro Sanchez, has been making so many headlines. Because one of the things I learned, just kind of looking at the world, the different elections throughout the world, whether you're talking about Canada or Australia, I feel like Trump is causing almost a surge of left wing or social democratic or liberal parties. You know what I mean? In the in Canada, he completely flipped the dynamic and made the Liberal Party dominate. And the Prime Minister in Canada has been doing very well for himself politically. In Australia, and it's a little bit confusing. They have a Liberal Party there, but their Liberal Party is their go-to mainstream Conservative Party. Labor is their left-wing party or center-left party. And Labor was able to get the biggest victory that they've had since, I believe, the war, World War II, which is certainly something else. Colombia, I think the left-wing, the main left-wing choice is leading in the polls. Sort of the successor of Gustavo Petro, the current president of Colombia, and he's been taking a strong stance against Trump. Lula in Brazil, the Workers' Party seems to be doing well in the polls. I'm rooting for him. Not every country is like this, of course. The conservatives were able to win in Chile. Milei got a few, I think, a midterm win or some sort in Argentina. One of the best left-wing leaders in the world, Claudia Sheinbaum. She was able to get a good win when she was running for her election. Massive. I honestly think, and maybe this is partly me being optimistic, I think Trump is fucking up so bad, in such an extreme manner. It's so extreme. It is worse than what I predicted. And that says a lot. If you look at the streams that I did, leading up to the election, doing these debates and so on and so forth, of course I had a pretty negative view on what a Trump presidency would look like. But it is worse than I thought. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect the Strait of Hormuz to be closed, which is gonna raise gas prices in the United States and cause an energy crisis worldwide, and including in the United States. I didn't expect... I knew he could have reversed all, the Biden pro-manufacturing policies. Tall Paul says, only if you have TDS, and you, sir, are on stage 5. Tall Paul, you can feel free to tell me where things are going. Great. The high gas prices, which you guys claim to care about so much during the election. The fact that the peace candidate, the peace president, is sending us into another Middle Eastern war, like the ones he ran against back in 2016. Now, I knew back then he was already a warmonger in 2024 and 2020 and so on and so forth, because he had his first term, and in his first term, he was no peace-loving guy. He increased drone strikes 432%. He supported a genocide in Yemen, the Saudi genocide in Yemen. So I knew he was a warmonger. I knew he was lying about being the peace candidate. But people like you, Mr. Tall Paul, you, MAGA folks, were arguing that he was the peace candidate, that Kamala was going to send us into another Middle Eastern war or potentially World War III. Donald Trump objectively has started a war in the Middle East. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. There's no TDS. If Trump derangement syndrome just means you don't like the guy, yeah, I don't like the fucking guy sending Americans to die for Israel. I don't like that, actually. No American should have to die for Israel. Maybe you want Americans to die for Israel, and I encourage you to go to the front line when we start the ground invasion. I encourage you to go. If you truly believe that this is the way, that's on you, brother. That's on you. We should send Barron to the front lines. We should send Kai Trump to the front lines. Because if they expect young men and women across the country to die for Israel, they should at least be willing to sacrifice their young men and women in their own damn family. And then maybe they'll rethink. Maybe they'll rethink the war. Or maybe not. Maybe they don't give a fuck. Don Jr. doesn't give a fuck if his daughter gets, shot down in an airplane by Iran or whatever the fuck. Maybe he doesn't care. But I think they do. And that's why Kai Trump and Barron Trump are not lining up at the recruitment office. That's why they're not out there in the front line. I know it might sound like a stupid question, but what do you think about the whole Epstein thing? Like the connection with him and Trump, or if he's truly dead? Trump's a pedophile, no doubt about it. Trump fucked kids. A lot of the rich people fucked kids. And frankly, I've never seen a stronger case for wealth redistribution than the Epstein shit. I think it was Kyle Kulinski, a commentator, who made a great point about pretty much you can have democracy or you can have the wealth the wealthy consolidate all the wealth and in turn all the power. You can't have both a democratic system and wealth consolidation like we have now. And when you have the wealth and power consolidated with a small group of people, they feel like they can do anything. And if we're being honest, Tall Paul says, show us the videos of Trump with kids. You know, I'm going to be real, I haven't streamed in a bit, so I was curious what the diehard MAGA supporters are, what they would argue to sort of defend Trump on the Epstein shit. Because clearly he still has some supporters, right? But you know, even then, I'm still a little shocked. I'm still a little shocked to see the Cope. I'm not gonna lie. You're best friends with the CEO of Pedophile Inc. Okay, fucking Kids Inc. You openly say he likes him young. The face of pedophilia, right? Likes him young. You say that in years before he even gets prosecuted or whatever, when you're still associated with him. And then you're mentioned more in the Epstein files than Jesus Christ is mentioned in the Bible. And we don't even have the full Epstein files. And you hide the Epstein files. And your Justice Department and your FBI redact the fuck out of the Epstein files. So, listen. I'm sure, Mr. Tall Paul, you want pedophiles to go to jail. So let's just let the pedophiles go to jail and we can agree on that. And let's let the full release happen. And let's get rid of those damn redactions. And let's do all that. Unfortunately, your president is hiding that shit. He's hiding it. And you know why he's hiding it. And you could lie to yourself. You could cope. You could be like, no, he's fighting the system. He's fighting the system. I know he's fighting the system because he's my friend. He doesn't fucking know you, little bro. He doesn't know you. Anyway, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump were best buddies. Donald Trump is a pedophile. Donald Trump is covering up for the Epstein class. He is part of the Epstein class. And Duck Y says, are you a sociopath? Why? Either me or Tall Paul he's talking about. I don't know which person he's exactly talking about. Hold on, let me see what the question was from Serena, though. The connection between him with Trump, or if he's truly dead. Oh, here's an interesting one. Is Trump truly dead? Oh, wait, is Epstein dead? I think it's possible he's dead. It's possible. It's also possible he's alive. I actually don't have the answers because they cut the feed. They clearly did something, whether they sent some people in to kill him or they simply just let him out. Sent him on a nice trip to Tel Aviv or something like that. We have no way of knowing, which is why we need the full Epstein files released, which is why we need these people properly investigated. We need these people locked up. You sound like you're putting Ajd fatwa. What's a fatwa? I feel like I've heard that term before, like a Muslim thing. A legal ruling in Islamic law. Well, I'm not a Muslim, so I don't think I'm allowed to give off fatwas, but but yeah, there should absolutely be some legal rulings against Donald Trump and his pedophile friends, okay? That's a pretty easy case for me. Hold up. Someone asked me a question, so I'm going to reply to them. Arguing. One second, I'm just replying to a question here from someone I know personally. So you are a political extremist? I'm a political extremist for saying that pedophiles should go to jail. People that fucked kids and were associated with Jeffrey Epstein should go to jail. If you consider that extreme, I think you should be fucking searched. I'm not gonna lie. Someone look at that motherfucker's hard drive, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. 1 second, friends. 1 second. There was a whole long process. Really? That just happened? What just happened? Me saying you should get your fucking hard drive searched for being a creep? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know what your ideology is, but if you think I'm a fucking radical for saying pedophiles and people that traffic kids should go to jail, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You said that sounds like a fatwa? Show us the live interviews of the victims blaming Trump in any way, shape, or form. You can go reach out to the fucking victims. You can go reach out to Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, who've been actually talking to the victims. Because those victims want those Epstein files released. So you just call me a pedophile when you're denying being a political extremist. Listen, if you're defending the Epstein class, a little sus, I'm not gonna lie. Hold up, let me finish this text. Hold on, I'm sending a text. 1 second. Alright. You just called me a pedophile while you're denying a political extremist. This isn't what you said. Why are they hiding these victims then? Who's hiding the victims? The victims did press conferences. Tall Paul, if you want to do the research, you can do the research. The victims were doing press conferences with Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna. And they want the files released. You're actually like pooping the brain if you think the victims are being hidden when they're going out in public calling for the files to be released. How did you forget, or did you not notice? Did I not notice what? He threatens people without saying anything evidence or something. Brother, I'm not threatening nothing, bruh. I'm saying that if you defend in the Epstein class, you probably sus. The victim saying Trump was involved, you muppet. Brother, go listen to the victim statements. Go find the victims. Go listen to Thomas Massie. And go listen to Ro Khanna. And go listen to the conversations they've been having with the victims. And I tell you what, the victims aren't very happy that Donald Trump and this administration is hiding the Epstein files, bro. They didn't get invited to the Epstein party. That's why they mad. Yeah, seems like it. Seems like it, folks. Seems like it. Let me pull up the phone stream so I see the chat on the side. And not one of them pointed fingers at Trump. Trump is accusing the Epstein files. You do understand that. Like, you do know that. Hold on, let me pull up a song again. Get some Toontown. Get some Toontown. And also, Tall Paul, if Trump is innocent in the Epstein files, I encourage him to release it then. Please do. They are being blackmailed just like Trump. So the victims are being blackmailed like Trump to try to get the files released by the people blackmailing them. Tell me how that makes sense. Are you guys able to physically wipe your ass when you take a shit? Do you guys know how to wash your hands? Do you have to think in order to breathe? If you think that the people blackmailing the victims are trying to blackmail the victims to speak with Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie to get the files released because they themselves want to get exposed, that's not his call. Blame the judges. Blame the judges? No, it is his call. He's ordering his FBI and Justice Department to do the redactions. They are violating the law pushed by Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna said release the shit. They are refusing to release the shit. And now Donald Trump is supporting Thomas Massie's primary challenge. Are you supporting Thomas Massie's primary challenge? Because you would be supporting trying to get someone out that's been trying to expose the pedophiles. Which again, makes you a little sus, Tall Paul. Makes you a little sus. Again, you can cope and all you want, but the country's waking up, bruh. The country is waking up to the fact that your boy is a creep. Let's say you are like Trump and you're a millionaire. If you were involved in these files, would you let those files get released? Would you let the incriminating info about you on the island? That's a great point. That's a great point. Luckily, for most people, they aren't doing stuff like that. But the issue with Epstein is he was able to get so many people involved in his world that he has blackmail on everyone. You just seem to emotionally abuse people. If you're getting emotional from some guy on YouTube not liking you, I don't know, brother. You gotta go talk with your friends in real life, bro. Stop watching the stream and go enjoy life, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Alright, we getting a call. Let's see. 248 area code. Who's this?
Hello?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you know.
I'm good, I'm good. How are you?
Okay, I'm okay.
I'm sorry?
I'm okay.
Okay. What's on your mind?
I want to listen to podcast.
Yeah?
Yeah. Go ahead, talk. I listen.
All right. You can listen. If you got something to ask or something to debate, feel free to call back. All right. Thank you. I am firmly in the Trump dislike column. Yeah. Me too. I don't like the guy. Frankly, anybody that's in the Trump like column, the people that love the guy now, like what's this guy, Dux Y and Tall Paul, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. You can't really see those people often or you see them less in real life besides like literal going to political environments where there's obviously going to be Trump supporters there. But I think a lot of Trump supporters are actually humiliated or embarrassed that they supported this guy. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit what? I don't support Trump. I'm against people abusing and threatening others online for their own selfish benefit. Brother, you are not being threatened. Okay, stop with the victim bullshit. Alright? Stop with the victim bullshit. You're okay. your last statement. What? Did I see less Trump supporters or did I dislike Trump? I don't like him a bit because I don't like people that fuck kids. You just want to talk to Trump supporters and threaten them, say they should be investigated, abuser mindset. Well, it's called a debate. I think the actual abusers in this case, people with the abuser mindset, are the people that fuck kids. No and no. Serena says the great point. Duckwhy, if you're getting too emotionally invested in this, for your own sake, you can scroll. Just for your sake. You said Trump supporters are embarrassed. Oh yeah, I think a lot of them are. I mean, that's why you're having like massive swings in districts Trump won throughout the country. That's why you're going to get a blue wave in November. So we are abuser, you bear not. We are abuser, you bear not. I don't know what you're trying to say, brother. I'm not going to lie. I don't speak you. I don't speak your language. Tall Paul. Wait, Paul. Do you genuinely believe that Trump is popular right now? That Trump is liked right now? Like this Epstein shit is not catching up with him? That there aren't special election after special election since 2025 where the Republicans are being beat? Where even though the Democratic Party's popularity is low, mainly because the Democratic base is angry at them, which as a Democrat I love to see. I want the party base to be angry with the leadership because the leadership has to go. But nonetheless, on elections have been showing up for Democratic candidates, beating Republican candidates. You just don't see that happening. That just means you're not paying attention, just like you're not paying attention with the Epstein shit. Okay, because you don't want it. You don't want to pay attention. Silly small man. Oh shit. Ducksly, I think you're abusing me. No, I'm just kidding. North Virginia just flipped 4-decade blue seat red earlier this week. You can find me anecdotes of, I don't know, a Republican performing well, but that doesn't really change the bigger trend. Virginia, whole Virginia, went for the Democrat. Okay? The Democrats completely outpaced turnout in Texas. Special election after special election around the country is Democrats winning. In Texas, there was a special state house race where a Democrat won. I think DeSantis even made a statement about it. DeSantis, Texas, special election statement. Yeah, February 2nd. DeSantis was sounding the alarm about the GOP losing, saying, quote, well, the website's kind of loading a bit. It's not something that can be dismissed. And I think the guy that specifically won in that former Trump won district, it wasn't running as like some kind of centrist or establishment Democrat, but was running as a Bernie-crat, essentially. You vegan. I'm not vegan. I can't let go of meat. I'm not going to lie. Shout out to the vegans, though. That takes some discipline. Shout out to the vegans. Shout out to the vegans. They real ones for that. So you're a chicken consumer? Or what? Yeah, I'm a chicken consumer. I eat chicken. Oh, no, duck why. I see. Yeah, I don't know what he's asking there. So, I mean, going back to Tall Paul here, I mean, Ron DeSantis is out here saying, like, hey, Republicans, we shouldn't ignore the performance of Democrats in Trump won districts, in red districts. And, brother, you might want to heed the advice. You might want to heed the advice a little bit. Because clearly you're ignoring it. Oh, gosh. And he won it. How much did he win it? He won it by 14 points? How much did Donald Trump win that? Donald Trump won by 17 points in 2024, a 31-point swing. A Democrat, particularly a Bernie-crat, a progressive, won that seat by 14 points. And that's not just Democrats showing up. That's Democrats, that's independents, that's some Republicans flipping. Not a lot of Republicans, but you don't need a lot of Republicans. You need the independents and you need the Democrats. You need the Democrats energized and the independents ready to flip, which a lot of them are ready to flip. They were willing to give Trump a chance in 2024 because they fell for the lies that the economy would be better. But what they see is the economy is not better. Inflation is up. Gas prices are up. The economy was already doing shit before even we were attacking Iran. And now we're attacking Iran and we've just sped up dramatically and intensified the coming economic crisis of the day. So, shit, bruh. I mean, as a Democrat, and I say it directly, I'm a Democrat, bruh. I'm a progressive, I'm left-wing, but I'm a Democrat. I want y'all to be a little too overconfident. Do you think the war will get worse? Yeah, I expect the war to get worse. I expect it to get worse. I think they have too much ego right now to pull out, to stop the bombings. I think Iran ultimately has kind of shown they are the ones that will get to decide to stop. Because the United States has been talking about ceasefire, and trying to communicate them to do a ceasefire through different channels. I think the Italians, they were trying to communicate through the Italians. And Iran right now is rejecting because they know that a ceasefire is just going to give Donald Trump and Israel, the United States and Israel, an opportunity to essentially reload and prepare for another wave and probably try to finish the job. So in their end, they're already backed upon a corner. They're already backed upon the wall. They already had their oil infrastructure attacked. They already had their schools attacked. They already had their salination plants attacked by the United States. Salination, that is specifically to kill civilians. That's going after people's water, going after the salination plants. So they are clearly not ready to call it quits when it comes to the air war. But we haven't seen what the ground war is going to look like yet. We haven't seen what the ground war is going to look like yet. And I think from the Trump end, you either want it over, but you certainly don't want the humiliation of sort of, we're pulling out, we're stopping. So he just moved some ground troops over, or some troops over to the Middle East. And I think a ground invasion is going to happen. He's going to have to move a lot more people. Unless they foolishly just try to go with like a small group of people. And I think it's going to be a mess. I think it's going to be a mess. Tall Paul says, where the fuck you getting your lies from? Are you talking about the Iran analysis? Or are you talking about the statement from Ron DeSantis that I was talking about to you? Where a Democrat just swung a Trump district from plus 17 Trump to plus 14 him, a 30-point swing, and where Ron DeSantis, the Republican governor, is saying that this should not be dismissed. Unfortunately for the Republican Party, Mr. Tall Paul, I think there are a lot of people like you that are going to dismiss it, and that's going to, fortunately for the country, help you lose. The American ceasefire, there have been multiple reporting about Americans trying to do a ceasefire right now. America, and they're trying to talk to channels like the Italians, right? Italian, Iran, ceasefire. Exclusive, Trump rejects... Oh wait, fucking paywall. Damn it. Okay, here. U.S. reached out to propose ceasefire through Italy. Iran rejected it outright, the apparent U.S. official has said. Saw this blurb in Middle East Spectre, so I looked it up. Ynet Global News. So Global News is reporting on it. You might not like that. You might call it a lie, but that's okay. Either way, the war is not going to end. And I think we can agree on that. The war is not ending anytime soon. And as the longer the war goes, the bigger the mess is going to get, the more American troops are going to die. But y'all never cared about the lives of American troops. You only care about the lives of American troops when you use them in a cynical manner. When you use them as, say, oh, some troops died in Benghazi, so now we're going to make it the big story for the next few years. Some troops died as we were ending the war in Afghanistan, so now we're going to make it the big story for the next few years. But then more troops died in this attack, this invasion of Iran, and y'all don't care. Y'all don't give a fuck. So Where we agree, Tall Paul, is that there is not going to be a ceasefire soon. I can tell you that. And we have, I was saying this earlier in the stream. I don't know if the people watching right now were here when I was saying this. But we haven't even seen the ground game yet. We haven't seen the ground war yet. The entire Iranian ground forces have essentially been chilling right now. Iran is not Iraq. A completely different terrain. A massive country. Mountainous. So I see that ground war just being a disaster. It's a modern day Vietnam. One news outlet reporting that, sure, real credible. I mean, Trump himself said contradicting things like the war is going to end quick. The war is going to be long. Either way, I can tell you this. We're in agreement, Tall Paul, that the war is not going to end. And I'm sure you're enthusiastic about that. So are you going to serve, though? You going to go over there? You're free to tell it. The floor is yours now, Tall Paul. Are you going to go to Iran? We waiting for you, brother. The country needs you. Nah, you're not gonna go though. That's the thing with you people. You people will support war, but y'all not ready to serve in that war. Y'all want some other unlucky motherfucker to die in that war that you support from the sidelines because you think it's team sports, but those soldiers are gonna die for nothing. The civilians are gonna die for nothing. And that's the problem with you people though. You MAGA types, you conservatives, you right wing. Yeah, because citizens can just sign up. I'm sure there's a recruitment process to join the military, Paul. You could join the military if you'd like. Citizens join the military. I don't know how to tell you that. So, if you really like this war, you can go die for Israel. I don't want you to do that. I don't want anybody to die for Israel. But you seem eager to have other people die for Israel. Our troops die for Israel. So out of respect for our troops, why don't you go over there and try to, like, protect them too, you know? Yo, Paul, how can you be so sure? How can you be so trusting of Trump? You have no real arguments anyway. Your questions are just a few Google searches away. Yeah, he's, Paul is just a partisan MAGA guy that can't change. That's the thing with a lot of these people. A lot of people cannot change. Or they refuse to change. They have no interest in change. And that's okay. You know. You can't help everybody. You just, in terms of politics, you just gotta beat them. And then you can go do good things for them. You can go pass the universal health care that will benefit them. You can go pass universal college education so that their kids can go to college. They might not appreciate you doing good for them, but that's the difference between the left and the right. Is I'm on the left and I want to do good for these people who I don't like. And they're on the right. They don't want to just do harm to the people they don't like. They want to do harm to themselves and the people that they do like. Because they're stupid in the head. They're dumb. You're right, but you think that's an overnight process. You can start the process. I'm not saying it's overnight. Come on. Come on, brother. Again, I don't want you to go do that because I don't want you to go die for Israel. But you want other people too. You want civilians to die for Israel. You want soldiers to die for Israel. You, Soren, have no good arguments. If my arguments are bad, I don't know where that puts your arguments, brother. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not saying that to be arrogant, but if these arguments that I'm presenting are fucking horrible or whatever, your things are beyond horrible. You just out here coping in the comments saying, no, my president, my favorite pedophile is not a pedophile. I swear he's not a pedophile because I like him. The war is good because my president started the war even though he ran against the wars. dude, keep up, not talking to you. I'm sure you don't like my arguments either, brother. I can see who you're talking to. You're talking to someone in the chat. But I would say Soren or Serena or whatever, the name might be, is clearly a bit more there in the head than you are, Paul. No offense to you, Paul, but I'm just being truthful here. I'm just keeping it real with you, Paul. I'm keeping it real. How long's the stream been going, by the way? Just out of curiosity. Let me see. While I'm looking for how long the stream is going, folks, feel free to join the channel membership. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to join the Patreon, all that fun stuff. Excuse me. How do you see how long it's been going? Oh, there it is in the corner. It's been a while since I streamed, so we've been streaming for about an hour. You make it sound like I'm alone with Trump's support. No, Paul, there is a lot of idiots that like Trump. There is a lot of idiots that want to fuck over themselves and their family. There's a lot of idiots that want to send troops over the seas to die for Israel. It's shrinking. It's less. The polls reflect that. The approval and disapproval reflect that. The fact that Trump and Trump-aligned candidates and Republicans are losing election after election after election across the nation reflects that. But you're not alone. Listen, when FDR won, there was still like 30-something% of people that voted against him. When Nixon and Reagan won, there was still like 40-something% of people that voted against him. You will never win 99% of people. But I don't mind you guys being the 35%, the 40%. Y'all just have to be beat because you guys cannot be convinced. That's okay. If the left wins, we'll still do good for you and your family. Even if you don't want to do good for you and your family. We're going to give y'all the things you need. The healthcare you need. The education you need. Don't worry. We got you. If y'all want to come to the side and help out, make that shit happen, you can do that. But if y'all want to go suck the pedophile's dick, then go suck the pedophile's dick. You can do it. I'm not stopping you. Come on, man. No one's stopping you. You're not oppressed. You got your people. You got the Trump supporters with you, and they're going to stay with you. A lot of them will stay with you. No matter what comes out in the Epstein files, no matter how much Donald Trump hides the Epstein files, there will still be red hat wearing troglodytes that you can be friends with. Your social circle is safe. And I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun together. For sure. No doubt. I'm not saying any other leaders are saints, but don't talk about Trump like he is one. Once again, you muppet, your opinion will never be facts. Which opinion am I wrong about? The muppet is curious, but Soren is correct. That's the thing about Trump supporters. That's the difference, right? With Joe Biden, I can appreciate, for example, the manufacturing policies he did that helped manufacturing in this country, that helped manufacturing investment grow. But when he was supporting the genocide in Gaza, I could criticize Joe Biden. These people can have their fucking president that they're big fans of literally pass the "I'm gonna fuck you in the ass" bill, okay? And hide the elite pedophiles in the Epstein files and censor the fuck out of them, violating the Epstein Transparency Act, literally violating the law, literally doing crypto scams against his own supporters, people like Mr. Paul here, okay? And they're going to stay with him no matter what because they are not the typical voter. They are in a cult. Now, there was a lot of people that voted for Trump in 2024, for instance, because they were like, okay, it's been a while, maybe he's going to bring some needed change in my life, good stuff for the economy. But now that he's fucking up on the economy, he's going to lose those people. And he's already been losing those people in special election after midterm election, after all these different elections. Trump being part of the Epstein adventures. At some point, brother, they actually investigated Mar-a-Lago because that was actually the hub of the Epstein shit. In 2002, he said Epstein likes him young. He met Melania on the fucking Lolita Express, and they fucked. I think this one's a more I think, because this is more, it's been a while since I heard this. I think Epstein was with Melania first, and then he gave his sloppy seconds to Donald Trump. So they were close, brother. They were close, and you can defend him all you want. But I would hope, at least where we can agree, at least where we can separate the differences and come together on something that we agree on, that these Epstein files should be released, and that the Department of Justice and the FBI, under Donald Trump and his appointees, have been censoring and redacting, and that's a violation of the law, and the people that violate the law, the Epstein Transparency Act, should face legal consequences, should go to jail. Right? We can agree on that. And if it's discovered that the person ordering his FBI, his Justice Department, to redact, to censor, to hide, to delete files, to delete information, and so on and so forth, if it's Trump should face some consequences, because Trump is a human being and not above the law. Right. Just another moron calling people cult members. You have zero credibility. Here you go again. That's you single IQ leading you astray. Okay, brother, I'm sorry. You already lost the normies on the Epstein shit. You can disagree with me all you want, and I'm a partisan fucking dude, and I'm in this politics shit, but the biggest challenge for you and your side is bringing the normies back to you on the Epstein shit, because you lost them. You lost them. You gotta recognize that. You and the rest of MAGA have lost the normies, have lost the apolitical people, have lost some right-wingers on this Epstein shit. Again, has the Epstein files, Epstein Transparency Act, the bill pushed by Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna that got passed in a Republican Senate and a Republican House and signed by Donald Trump, has that law, not a bill anymore, the law of the United States of America, has that been violated? The obvious answer is yes. Considering that only Ro Khanna was saying only half of the files are out, so there's still a massive portion of the files still hidden. Don't know what to tell you, brother. Don't know what to tell you. We'll see. I agree. We will see. And with that in mind, folks, even though we didn't have calls, I don't mind actually interacting with the chat. Interacting with the chat, to me, kind of feels as fun as interacting with the calls. I'm not going to lie. So I appreciate you guys coming in, chatting, debating within the stream chat. It was a fun time. Hold up, there's another thing. You Muppets have been crying the same tears for over a decade. Where you at with that today? I don't even know what you saying, bro. You talk like a motherfucking NPC, bro. You talk like a broken damn program, dude. But hey, much love to you. Much love to all the Trump supporters that came and said their silly shit, because that back and forth is what makes these streams fun. And thank you to Serena Postol as well for being in the chat. It was nice having some sane people here. It's a nice stream back. I'm not going to lie. It was enjoyable. And hope y'all have a good day. Appreciate you. I'm going to end the stream. See you later.